And so our big question tonight, should mercy pleas be decided within a fixed time frame? That's what we're asking. You can also take part in our debate via our second screen app on your Android and iOS devices and vote on the questions that you would like to ask our panel this evening. Well, we have Mr. KTS Tulsi, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court, who was the lawyer for Devinder Pal Singh Bhullar in this case. Mr. Tulsi joins us tonight. We have Satish Manashinde, well-known criminal lawyer, joining us from Mumbai. Senior lawyer Mahesh Jethmalani also joins us this evening. Kavita Srivastav of the People's Union for Civil Liberties, which has been arguing vociferously against the death penalty for some time, is joining us from Jaipur. And from the BJP, its spokesperson, Mr. Sudhanshu Trivedi. Let me ask Mr. Tulsi first. Mr. Tulsi, what are the far-reaching implications of this judgment in Mr. Bhullar's case?
Well, the far-reaching implications are that the entire jurisprudence of mercy seems to have been reversed. Well, I believe that, I've always believed that judges have superior wisdom as compared to the lawyers, because lawyers argue only one standpoint, whereas the judges take the entire picture into view. But this is one of the judgments which I fail to comprehend, because the judges say that those who did not show mercy cannot plead for mercy. But then that means the mercy jurisprudence has been abandoned. Because in each of these cases, the allegation is with regard to the most diabolic murders. Only then the death sentence is awarded. Death sentence is awarded in the rarest of rare. If they call it rarest of rare, and then they are not shown mercy, that's why they have been awarded death penalty. So they don't deserve mercy. If they don't deserve mercy, whether it is 10 years during which the president sits on it, or it's 20 years, or it's 30 years, doesn't make a difference. At the same time, at page 60, they say that the principle which is deduced from Constitution bench judgments is that inordinate delay is inhuman and is degrading. If it is inhuman and degrading, then how is it that even after, on account of a delay of 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, or even more in some other cases, because they did not show mercy, they are not entitled to plead for mercy.
So you're saying it's a contradictory judgment?
It seems to suggest that, you know, at page 67 they say that yes, it is accepted that he has suffered mentally and he is in the mental institution for more than 2 years. But they say that he hasn't suffered as much as that he cannot be hanged. So what is the degree of suffering?
So you're saying,
which would make it unconstitutional.
Mr. Tulsi, you're saying that in a sense this judgment has demolished what the concept of mercy is supposed to be about. That is what you're saying, especially when the court says when they didn't show compassion, why should they get any? Let me take that to Mr. Jethmalani. Mr. Jethmalani, how do you then see interpret the court's judgment today?
Well, I don't think it's contradictory actually, because the court has said that delay in disposing of mercy petitions is a circumstance to be considered when deciding whether death sentences should be commuted or not. They said it's certainly a circumstance to be considered, but in paragraph 40 of the judgment, they have taken out terrorists from this provision, from this indulgence. They have said people who are convicted under the TADA and similar statutes, they will not be entitled to claim any commutation on the ground of delay in the disposal of their mercy petitions. But it's very much still a factor which courts can take into consideration on the grounds of inhumanity and mental stress caused to the convict in other cases apart from those convicted under TADA and similar statutes. So there is not a contradiction. There is an exception carved out in paragraph 40, and I think it's a perfectly justified contradiction, justified exception.
Okay, let me take that to Kavita Srivastav. Kavita, people convicted of terror acts, do they deserve mercy? I think that's the question that's being asked tonight.
See, I want to respond by saying that firstly, how does a terrorist happen? And I think it's really well established that the government plays a major role by not finding political solutions to people's problems. The government creates terrorists. And this was well established by the International Jurists Panel, who studied 32 countries, this whole thing about terrorism, and said that the state has actually become a terrorist and creates terrorists, you know. So I think that framework has to be kept in mind, and these are all, you know, these are political battles which then got criminalized. Secondly, what I want to say, this judgment is taking us back. It's really, you know, retrograde, this kind of judgment. When, you know, the whole system of moving, when is humanitarian law applied? Please let us understand.